So, in the strict sense of what dating is, there's absolutely nothing wrong with double dating.
Wow. I don't know if this can be taken by everybody. In the strict sense of the term, it is advisable to double date. I'm quoting you now. You said there is
Yeah.
nothing wrong in double dating in the sense that. Greetings, everyone. I welcome you to Father Chinaka's TV and particularly to our program, Ask a Relationship Expert. This is the first of the series with Dr. Jane. And I'm delighted to welcome Dr. Jane, who is going to be our special guest. She would help us answer certain relationship and dating questions. We all know that a relationship is quite a wonderful gift and one that could make one happy, can add value to one's life, but it can easily become problematic if it consumes our lives. As a dating couple out there, you should be encouraging each other to grow together. I recall one Dr. Henry Cloud, who was the co-author of How to Get a Date Worth Keeping and Boundaries in Dating. Particularly, he wrote a book called Fantasy and addresses common dating diseases people struggle with. One of these diseases, according to him, is dating from a vacuum. Dr. Jane is here to help us to help Christians understand the tenets of dating and relationship. So I have gathered some questions so that she would share her knowledge on these questions in order to help us understand better what is at hand. And so join me as I welcome on stage Dr. Jane to our program. Welcome, Dr. Jane.
Thank you very much, Father CJ. I'm honored to be on the program. And I'm pleased to contribute to the discussions we are having today to help those in relationships or those who are going to or about to get into relationships so they get to understand what exactly they're involved in.
Thank you very much, dear viewers. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, I invite you now to subscribe to our channel and to also turn on the notification bell to be the first to see our uploads whenever we drop something on our channel. This is an interesting program and it's going to be in series. So if you haven't subscribed, this is opportunity to subscribe and also share our channel's link with others. Today we are going to be discussing a very interesting topic in dating. Is it proper for a Christian to double date? Dr. Jane is here to answer the questions we have put forward for her. To begin with, I would like Dr. Jane to, first of all, clarify what dating is. What exactly is dating and what sort of relationship is that?
Thank you, Father CJ, for that question. Dating is a form of platonic relationship between a man and a woman with the intention of evaluating each other's suitability as a partner in a future relationship. In other words, dating is a casual relationship that involves no commitment, no emotional closeness, no intimacy, whether mental or sexual intimacy. And above all, no expectation. It's just a casual relationship.
Really? So if I would take you by your word, it is a casual relationship that involves no commitment, no emotions. Okay, should I say no strings attached? So you mean that
No
if I
strings
have a
attached,
friend,
no
you
expectations.
mean
Yes.
that if I have a friend, a female friend now, who is just a casual friend, you mean we are dating? Does that translate into dating from your definition?
Well, if you have a casual friend that you have the intention to be with that person, for a future intimate relationship, yes, you are dating, because the relationship is for both of you to evaluate each other. But when there's no evaluation involved, it's just,
Friendship.
friendship.
Oh,
Yes, it's
okay.
just plain friendship. But when you say, oh, I'm dating, or when you say we're dating, then it means that you're trying to evaluate the other person in order for you to have something in the future, to see if you can have something in the future.
Beautiful. That's quite beautiful. Wow. Another knowledge gained. So, with what we actually see today in the dating world among people who commit themselves to dating, do you think it is appropriate for a Christian to double date? Or is it regarded as cheating? Because you know that these days people are accused of double dating, or is it that it is a wrong concept that is being used here? Should a Christian double date? Should I have two or three or four persons that I'm committed to in a way, and after which at the end of the commitment I would see if I can continue with this person for the next steps?
Okay, let me start this way. Understanding what dating is, as its purpose is to help the individual to get to know the other person or persons, as well as understand himself or herself more. Because in the process of dating, you get to understand your likes, your dislikes, what you can tolerate, what you can't tolerate. It is not just advisable, but important for a Christian to date. And so, dating can also serve as an umbrella term, which includes a deeper relationship where commitment is involved. In certain cases, the term dating can stand out to mean, I just explained what dating is, and emphasize that there's no expectation, there's no intimacy, and there's no emotional closeness. But in certain cases, in certain contexts, dating can serve as an umbrella term where a deeper relationship or commitment is involved. And so, in this case, the term double dating has a negative connotation in our society, suggesting disloyalty when it comes to that umbrella term. So, when people say, oh, I'm double dating, or are you double dating, it has that negative connotation. But understanding what dating is outside of the umbrella term, where commitment is non existent, there is absolutely nothing wrong with dating more than one person. In fact, it is advisable to date more than one person. This enables one assess the health of each dating experience by having a clear basis for comparison. So, in the strict sense of what dating is, there's absolutely nothing wrong with double dating.
Wow. I don't know if this can be taken by everybody. In the strict sense of the term, it is advisable to double date. I'm quoting you now. You said there is nothing
Yeah.
wrong in double dating in the sense that there is no intimacy involved. That the only form of commitment is to see if they could, you know, evaluate themselves, if they have some things to measure up with together and move ahead to the next phase. So there is nothing wrong with double dating. So you mean that a guy can be dating like 3, 4, 5, 10 female friends that he's got, and the same girl involved or lady can also date 3, 5, 10, 15 guys that she knows in order to look for the guy that matches her qualities, her vision, in order that they could move to the next phase. So I don't know if I'm actually hitting on the right point. Yeah, because this is just what
Yeah.
I have understood your from the points you've
Okay,
laid down.
let me add this, because when you are saying 3, 4, 5, 6, you are getting to the number 10. So, and people may ask, why so many people? Shouldn't there be limits? Well, because dating helps you assess this person or helps you assess each dating experience. It is important you have more than one person. But now our advice, in as much as there may be no limits per se to how many people you date, but it's advised that you, since you're going to give time to this relationship, you date as many people as you can give your time. So if you know you cannot have time for more than 3 people, for more than 2 people in the dating sense, please stick to just the number of people you can have your time with.
Beautiful. So it is a matter of time, creating time for 2 persons, 3 persons, 4 persons, and
Yeah,
okay,
because it has a purpose. The
do they have a
dating has a
purpose?
purpose.
Okay, so can someone date without a purpose? Like people say, okay, we are just there as friends, we are close friends. Some persons are just there and they say, oh, we are besties. Imagine
Yeah.
having the person you're committed to. Okay, let's say you have your fiancé, for instance. Now one has a fiancé, and the next thing he has a bestie by the side. Now, what is the
Okay.
function of that bestie? I don't know if that's if there is a goal in having such kind of a bestie. So this is my best friend outside the person you have as a fiancé, or the person that you're getting married to, or even outside the husband. Oh, you tell your significant other, meet my bestie, my best friend. Now, is that actually a goal in dating, having besties
Well,
around your relationship?
the truth be told, if you're in a committed relationship already, you have no business dating someone else because dating has a purpose. So the answer is you can't actually date without a purpose. You could be friends, but you are not dating because dating has a purpose. So if you have a committed person already, you have no business dating. Because okay, let me ask, you're in a committed relationship, whether you're courting or you're married, and then you 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 now decide that you want someone else, a bestie in quote, and then you say you're dating that person or you feel you're free to date the person. What are you evaluating the person for? Because that's the purpose of dating. You're evaluating the person for a future relationship. So what will you be having someone and say you're dating? If it's to have friends, that's different. Friends on a plain level. But saying, oh, I'm married or I'm in a committed relationship and I'm dating someone else, since there are no strings attached, since there's no expectation, well, that is somewhat wrong. You have no business dating if you're in a committed relationship.
Hmm. So, which means that if you are in a committed relationship and you are dating another person, that is, being in a committed relationship, you must have gone beyond the level of dating with your partner.
Exactly.
You've gone beyond that level of dating, because it is after dating, from what I understood already, then you would now become committed to each other. Now, if you go date another person, then it becomes a problem, right? It becomes a distraction to your relationship. All right. So, which means that when you're already in a committed relationship, you shouldn't still be looking out there and looking for extra persons to date, also make selection. And so that is where the wrong notion of double dating comes in, which actually the right time shouldn't be double dating. It's simple. You're cheating. You're being distracted from the relationship, from the goal of the relationship. As you already explained that in dating, there is no strings attached. So, when does any form of commitment come in between 2 people before they get married? Or at what point before marriage should 2 people now be committed? Because we are talking about after the phase of dating, there should be a kind of a commitment now, which I think is the level they call themselves, the fiancé and the fiancée. So what do you think?
So most times in the dating scene, one out of many may stand out. Okay, when you're evaluating the different dating experiences, one out of many may stand out. And they both agree to take their relationship further, or like they say, to the next level, aimed at marriage. They're taking to the next level aimed at marriage. So this level of relationship is known as courtship. Though is regarded as an outdated term these days, but whether outdated or not, the word courtship still stands. Now, in courtship comes expectations, emotional closeness, intimacy, not sexual. There's intimacy, but not sexual. Um, People may ask, oh, intimacy, because a lot of people understand intimacy to involve sex, but intimacy can be mental. Okay. Now, since it's not sexual, but there can be deeper conversations and communication, being more comfortable and vulnerable, sharing one's personal feelings and experiences. This is what intimacy is all about. So you share your feelings, you share experiences on a deeper level, emotions, desires, needs, and there's raw honesty when it comes to the intimacy in courtship. So you see, they've moved from one level of not being expectant of anything to expecting a lot. They're now more open to each other. So even though they may have sexual attraction towards each other, okay, as a Christian, chastity is highly valued and recommended till marriage. Though sexual discussions are advised at this stage of the relationship, sexual discussions are advised. Here, commitment comes in. When it comes to courtship, commitment comes in. Courtship is deep and is purpose driven towards marriage. So the difference between dating and courtship is courtship involves commitment, it involves emotional closeness and expectations aimed at the two getting married, while dating excludes all of this. Well, in courtship as well, let me add this, in courtship as well, the parents or mentors of these two should be involved. Whereas in dating, parents are not necessarily brought into the know.
Awesome. This is quite great. So from dating, you step up to courtship, right? Now, why you court, then the commitment is quite strong, and why courting, you are actually looking at the goal of marriage. And a lot of persons, I think this is where they get stuck for like 3, 5, 10 years. They say, oh, this is my boyfriend, this is my girlfriend, or something like that. And you have been in that relationship for many years and you've not married. I don't know what to call these, whether I would say that they are fixated at this stage. They cannot just, free themselves from this very stage and, get into the phase of marriage. So they remain here, and after a period of time, they just break up and they start all over again from the beginning. So why there is a strong commitment at courtship, that of dating is understood to be different, where you're still getting to know yourselves, still trying to understand your values, your temperament, and what you need to know. It is interesting to also know that you mentioned the fact that sexual talks could be shared while courting. As Christians, yes, the law of abstinence, or that is chastity, comes in. Okay, yes, there can be a chaste courtship, but one should be open to the other person. This is the stage where you be open. If you have some challenges, some problems, issues with potency, fertility, and other things, this is the time you be open to each other, and how to manage each other in these areas of like this is time to encourage one another to go to the hospital to know how healthy you are and all of that. But some persons mix up a lot of things at this stage. They get entangled, they have sex and unwanted pregnancy. The man is not ready, he breaks up, he denies the pregnancy, and there is a problem. He leaves the woman there as a single parent. She gives birth and her entire story changes. She begins to battle with what she never prepared for. Or the man, while cutting the lady or the woman, he gets himself entangled with her. There is sexual intercourse and leading to pregnancy. He is forced, in this sense, to assume immediately the role of a father and to marry the girl. Maybe he wasn't considering marrying the girl because, okay, while cutting, he feels that, oh, I don't think I can continue with this girl. And he gets himself involved with sex while cutting. And the next thing, it leads to a pregnancy and he assumes the role of the father. And the next thing, he takes the woman home as his wife. And after some time, you see problems issuing up. So a lot of things need to be checked at this stage of courtship. We should know the difference. We should know what we want. We should know what we are actually aiming to get. So I like what you already delineated here, and our people should understand this better. Having said all this, I would like you to emphasize further on what I already stated. We see couples looking elsewhere, trying to see if they could date someone in the sense of getting to know new persons and trying to get along with them. As we understand that dating is meant to be platonic, a form of friendship on the surface. So, is it okay for married couples? Should they look elsewhere and date someone else? And also those in courtship, should they look elsewhere? I wanted to add some points to this. Yes, I made mention of this while commenting on something else, but I wanted to make this issue there.
Simply put, let me expatiate. In marriage or courtship, there is commitment. This means the focus is on one's partner in the relationship. Now, the purpose of dating, like I said earlier, is to evaluate another for the sake of suitability. So, in as much as there is no intimacy or commitment involved when it comes to dating, what will the married or committed person be evaluating an entirely different person for? Someone else who isn't part of their relationship, and you're having someone and you say you're dating the person. Those in courtship can have casual friends. They can have casual friends and acquaintances, colleagues, and all of that. There's no room for dating another person, except the relationship between them in courtship doesn't work out. Then we can say both are free to get back dating other people. They can get back into the dating scene. But outside of this, there's no room for dating any other person.
Beautiful. So if you're married or you are courting your partner, please do not consider dating someone else, because it is believed that you have crossed the phase of dating with your partner and you're either courting such a partner or already married to your significant other. So do not look elsewhere to date another person. Now, I would like to ask this last question, Dr. Jane. Thank you so far for the clarification you have already given. Now, many people today who are either married or courting have had some not so good experiences, traumatic experiences, heartbreaks, and having some irreconcilable differences, issues in the marriage. It is frightening for young people who have seen these disasters in relationships. Think of, getting married. Now, how can dating help persons to get involved in this kind of relationship that leads to marriage?
So these days there is confusion. People mix up the activities from different stages of the relationship. They mix up dating and courtship. Activities reserved for married people are done in the dating scene and in courtship. Each of these stages have their purpose. Now, a man and woman who claim to be dating, parents may be unaware. They are not concretely decisive or sure of getting married, yet they engage in premarital sex, whether they get pregnant or they use protection and all of that. Now, they demand loyalty. Okay, they are dating or they are courting and they're having premarital sex and they're demanding loyalty and commitment from each other. Where the idea of getting married is usually based on assumptions, make believes, fantasies, oral promises, and long term expectations. While involved in this way, they do not engage their partners purposefully. Marriage is not a joke. They dwell on surface issues, not essential substances. For instance, their partner's perception of life, what marriage life to them is, their life goals, political inclinations, because this helps one understand deeply what manner of person you might likely end up with or you're dealing with. They tend not to understand how this person thinks. Because if you ask certain questions that are purposeful, you tend to understand the mentality of this person you're with, their mental and emotional state and maturity. Now, sexual intimacy tends to cloud the mind, preventing them from objectively evaluating their partners, ignoring negative signals, inconsistencies, and red flags. Um, this is another reason why it is actually discouraged in dating and in courtship. Sexual involvement, because most times one is emotionally invested. And so at the end of the day, they are blinded and do not ask or see the right things they should be seeing. Now, some factors such as social cultural pressures and expectations further pushes them to remain in these shallow and faulty relationships. Eventually, some end in marriage. Well, when the foundation is faulty, the end result is always damaging. So it is advisable to actually date before jumping into a lifelong contract like marriage, and stick to the rules and achieve the purpose for each stage of the relationship. So my advice is for them to focus and stick to what is important. Follow the rules of dating, or follow the stages of dating as it should be, from dating to courtship, and then if it works out, marriage.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jane. You have given your advice. Remain focused. That is just the point. Follow what each phase offers you, and you would surely get it. When you are honest with yourself, you're sincere, you're open, then you don't mix up things. It is when things are mixed up. When you are dating, you want to already live out your life as though you were married. You can never get to the next phase. When you're courting, you still think you're dating. You don't even know that already, that consciousness of the fact that you have gone to the next phase, which is the courtship, is not there, and you still feel that okay, you're yet to meet to know more of your values, or you think you're already in the marriage, and or as some of your your mutual friends will call you our wife, you think you've arrived already. You begin to do so many things that and these things actually return to us. We as priests, we are counselors. We advise people. We counsel people. We settle disputes between couples. So we know all these things. When you bring these things to us, we know already that a lot of things have been mixed up. So my beloved friends, we have seen that a lot of things are involved in this relationship issue. We want to thank specially our relationship expert, Dr. Jane, for clarifying these basic points for us today. Expect more on this channel. Ask a relationship expert with Dr. Jane. We are bringing more to your doorstep for you to understand these issues before you step into dating or courtship or eventually getting married. There are some mistakes you should avoid. There are avoidable mistakes in relationships that you should already know beforehand and avert the problem that it would cause in your marriage. So stay tuned on Father Chinaka's TV. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Turn on the notification bell. Like our video, please. We want this video to reach so many persons, so many viewers, and we also solicit for your likes. Okay, when you like this video, you indirectly tell YouTube that, look, this is a good video, and YouTube would recommend this video for us too on its very street, and people will come to see and like what we are doing. So if you like what we are doing, like our video, comment also, tell us where you're watching us from, leave your questions. Look, we are going to be treating your questions, relationship questions. Leave your questions in the comment section and we shall collect these questions, and it would be some of the topics we'll treat in the next series. Remain blessed. I pray that God sustains each and every one of you who are out there in one relationship or the other. Thank you once again, Dr. Jane, for coming, and we hope to have more of you on Father Chinaka's TV.
Thank you once again, Father CJ, and I hope that people will get to understand the purpose and the reason for the stages of relationships and why they're involved in one or two things, in their relationships. And in subsequent series, I hope to address the questions or the concerns of those at home or those who may be having issues in their relationships.
Thank you very much. See you again in subsequent series.